America, where it has to be brought and somehow made alive. I grew up in America, and I know all the things that were done. Some of them rather crude education, honestly. I'm sure it doesn't sound at all like what you're doing. But somehow to produce emotion, to make people feel. In Europe, I think we have to confront and encounter our history, but I think also the encounter of each person whose family has lived with the Holocaust and is able to go on, I think is a remarkable educational tool. It has to be brought forward. I don't think we can let it just be altogether reduced, how do you say, somehow merely implicit. There also have to be moments in which it's explicit. But I think there's a lot in the human encounter that can make ipso facto living in Europe an education, Holocaust education.
So that sounds like the Shoah narrative, or at least parts of the Shoah narrative, are very much an ideal vehicle for you, because it's to a large extent it is the story of overcoming.
But the real test is the refugee, and the real test is the oppression right now of Muslims in Europe. That's the test.
What is the test? The test is, are the Jews empathetic with Muslim
Absolutely.
experience? Okay. And do you find a better vehicle than the Shoah to teach that?
No, but it doesn't. Okay. No, obviously. I mean, that's.
Nothing's obvious.
Well, it depends on what you mean by education. I mean.
Bringing person from point A to point B.
Okay, it's a little bit, right, of course, it's a little bit different with adults. Yes, it is, because look at education is something presumptuous that one has to be aware of. In other words, I was just at, for those of you who've seen the movie Denial.
Such.
As we heard, there are people in Sweden who support Israel and have a deep sense of the injustice of the present situation. It's these people who give hope to those who still believe that things will get better here. One of them is Barbara Spector, a former American who made Aliyah and then 10 years ago, with the help of the government of Sweden, set up a non-denominational institute of Jewish learning with the Greek name of Paideia, here in Stockholm. She believes the current wave of anti-Semitism in Sweden will pass and that Jews have an important role to play in a country undergoing profound change.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.